Hey everyone, welcome to Flip Out, where today we're going to be talking about the flipped classroom. My name is Tristan Henderson, and you can follow me on Twitter at thenderson482. So today we're going to be talking about some potentially serious changes in the way that you think about the educational practices that are going on in your classroom. So in order to prepare you for that, I'd like for you to think about this quote from Socrates, where he says that the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but building on the new. Before we can think about how to flip the classroom, we need to understand what flipped learning actually is. According to Khashoggi, Lee, and Su, who did a study on integrating flipped learning into K-12 classrooms, they have defined flipped learning as a model of learning that readjusts time spent both in and out of the classroom, that enhances the shifting of ownership of learning to the students undertaking the studies from the teachers. So essentially, it's embracing the idea that our role as educators has changed, and no longer are we expected to be the keepers and deliverers of information, but now we are a guide on this journey of academic exploration for our students. By flipping the classroom, we have this opportunity to allow students to take control of their learning and allowing for individualized instruction and deeper understanding of what we want our students to learn. There are a number of benefits to flipping the classroom. For starters, by flipping the classroom, students end up placing more value on the work that's given to them. You're also able to spend more time to meet with students individually, which then helps lower student frustration. And by assigning tasks that are challenging and meaningful, there will be more authentic engagement on those activities and in the classroom. Through this process, students end up owning their learning because they're able to go at their own pace, and they're able to collaborate in a more meaningful way. And all of this leads to higher student achievement. While student benefits are great, there are also some benefits for the teacher as well. In a flipped classroom, you, as I said before, are more of a guide rather than an information dispenser for the students. It also means that you have more time to teach difficult concepts to students that struggle with it, and those concepts may end up taking a little bit more time. And you also have the time to individualize instruction and differentiate in a really impactful and meaningful way to reach every student in your classroom. While there are a number of benefits to flipping the classroom, there are also a number of challenges that come with it. First of all, we're talking about a major shift in philosophy and pedagogy that goes on in your classroom. Pair that with the lack of support and the lack of information that's out there, and you're looking for a lot of work with not a lot of help. Ideally, a teacher who would be trying this model would have been teaching for about 7 years. This is because of the depth of knowledge that a teacher needs to have in their subject area, grade level, as well as developing a true philosophy designed around the success of this classroom model. In the beginning, there may be a lot for the teacher to do in order to create content for the students that are meaningful and differentiated, and it may be overwhelming to front load all of the work that needs to be done, but this approach is going to be challenging for students as well due to technical issues and potential for boring online content and activities. So that's why it's really important to be mindful about what you're planning to have your students do and make sure that it is what they need. So you don't want to plan too far in advance, but you also want to make sure that you are meeting your students' needs and meeting them where they're at. Fear not, my friends. With challenges come potential solutions. For example, you could start a support network for students who have limited access to internet and technology, by utilizing teachers in your building or local libraries. You could attend and provide professional development that enriches your and other teachers' knowledge on flipping the classroom. You could also take advantage of opportunities to network and share your experiences with other teachers that are doing the same thing through your professional learning network. But it's also to be aware of the workload that you are putting on yourself and your students. So when you're designing online content and creating online content for your students, you want to make sure that you're keeping your videos under 20 minutes. You also want to make sure that you are designing learning activities that are easy and simple to understand. It's also very important to make sure that the lines of communication stay open between teachers and parents and students, as well as having a forum for students to discuss and collaborate various assignments and tasks that are going on within the class and have the opportunity to help each other. You can also use a learning management system to motivate and monitor student progress and growth throughout the year as you are working through various units or content areas. So we have challenges and potential solutions, but what does it really look like? As I said before, the role of the teacher has changed in a flipped classroom. In this classroom model, you as the teacher are no longer expected to deliver information to students in the form of a lecture only to have them regurgitate that information through meaningless homework assignments that are dubbed as practice. Now, in a flipped classroom, students watch videos of lectures or tutorials before class, and they prepare themselves to apply that information in class through meaningful problem-solving tasks. This is helpful because they're able to pause, rewind, and even provide feedback about the lectures to the teachers, which allows the students to feel like they have more control of the learning that is going on, because they're able to work at their own pace and essentially gain a better understanding of the content through that. They're also able to interact and discuss what they've learned in the videos and reading while seeking clarification through the classroom activities that include group discussions. This helps build teamwork skills that are important for life outside of the classroom. It also gives teachers the opportunity to work more closely with struggling learners. So if this is what the flipped classroom is supposed to look like, what do we need in order to be successful? Well, first and foremost, we need to make sure that there is a flexible environment. Traditional classrooms are not necessarily conducive to learning, while the flipped classroom requires students to collaborate and work together in flexible environments and being able to choose where and when they learn what they're supposed to learn, and teachers need to be flexible enough to accept this premise. There's also going to be a change in culture, because traditionally, as I've said before, teachers are the keepers of knowledge. In this flipped classroom, educators are helping students learn topics to greater depth by using the pedagogies that are centered on that student. There's also intentional content. The content that's being taught needs to match the way that it's being taught in order to maximize the understanding. Teachers need to be flexible enough to adjust from traditional delivery methods to a more guided approach. And finally, and probably most importantly, the teachers that are in the classroom need to be professional educators. The teachers that best fit this type of classroom model are experienced teachers and model teachers, because they need to be willing to capitalize on the learning opportunities that exist within a given moment and be able to observe their students closely and in a meaningful way so that they can guide them effectively. A couple of really simple ideas that can help you start flipping the classroom are to begin with using choice boards and real-world problem solving in your classroom. If you want to go a little bit more in depth, you can look into gamification through Google Apps, which is something that I have done with my class and my students. Some tools that might help you get started with flipping your classroom include using the G Suite apps for education. These apps include Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Drawings, and all of these are a great way to begin thinking about ways to not only incorporate flipping your classroom, but how to incorporate technology into that flipping model. You can also use Edpuzzle to upload videos and embed questions for students to answer as they're watching those videos. And you can also use learning management systems such as Edulastic and GoFormative to monitor student progress and mastery of learning standards. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. Again, my name is Tristan Henderson, and you can find me on Twitter at thenderson482. And you can email me at henderson.tristan@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Twitter or send me an email. Have a great day.